Chris done heard this because we've been doing this for so long. There's no kid born to pick up a pistol. But when his situation, when things happen in his life to drive him that way, sometimes that can be an option. The name of the game now is what my brothers are doing, is intervention and prevention. The reactionary work, you have to have it, but it doesn't work. We have to make a pistol non-relevant for a young child. But if you don't have anything for him to do, that may be something that he picks up. I think the Lighthouse has done a great job of having things out in our community for kids to come and do instead of picking up a pistol. Right now in our community, I looked this up yesterday, we have 38% in prison are African American young males. We only make up 12% of the population in our community. Yeah. You know what I mean? So there's 1.9 people in 1.9 million people in prison. There's 800,000 people on parole, and that's another 2.9 million people on probation. So this is a public health crisis that we're dealing with. But no, every murder that I've ever met, he was made. He was manufactured by the things that he didn't have. I don't see Macaulay, I don't see Baylor on this list. I don't see Signal Mountain's area code or Lookout Valley's area code on this list because, come on, they're not having weapons things up there. Look at the economics. Crime and economics, it goes hand in hand. You know what I'm saying? Nobody wakes up one morning and says, oh wow, it's 218. Let me go blow somebody's brains out. Yeah. That has been a litany of things. Yeah. If we don't help our kids navigate trauma, that is how they fall off. We just got done doing it. I'm gonna be quiet after this. We just got through doing a year-long study, and what we've heard from our kids is they do not have a trusted adult who helps them navigate.
We have worked with young people from various walks of life. We worked with young people from Big Brothers Big Sisters, Boys and Girls Club. We went to several high schools, things of that nature, to get information. We partnered with Lighthouse, we partnered with several other people to ensure that we were talking to young people about what's going on in their communities, what they're seeing, and it's important, it's imperative that we provide opportunities based on what they tell us. A lot of times programs start with the head and come down, but we have to shift our approach and go from the bottom up. Why? Because when we have buy-in from the young people that are in community, as well as having boots on the ground people who actually care, who are serving, such as Ladarius, Montreal, Troy, myself, and several others, we begin to have a clear understanding of what the needs are, and we have had opportunities to prepare programming because of what we have heard specifically from the young people. Things that they want. They want safe spaces. It doesn't matter who put the safe spaces on, they want to have safe spaces. Number two, and to Troy's earlier point, the young people that are manufactured is because of the environments that they found themselves in. What we have to do is we have to understand that it's not just the environment, but it's the economics in the environment. Because there is a gap in the financial barriers with a lot of these families, these young people are seeing their mother or grandmother, grandfather, granddad, or dad struggle to the point to where you know what? The people in the community doing it. Why can I not do it? Right. You know, that's why we saw a streak of young men breaking in cars. That's why we have seen people get robbed at gunpoint. That's why we've seen some of these things, because it's an economic issue. So they want to have the opportunity to make money. Well, how do we do it? We can't ask them to put down what they're doing if we're not offering something else. So I'm talking specifically from the Office of Community Health, where, you know, right now. So what we've been working on is having job fairs, both from a felon-friendly perspective as well as from a youth perspective.
we're trying to do is we're putting on a job fair, kind of trying to make it youth-centric. Ideally, what we're trying to do is see if we can help out some employers while the kids are on spring break, not this coming week, but the following week. We figured do it a little bit early, that way it would give people time to do interviews and get all that paperwork stuff knocked out, so boom, they could get started. And ideally, we're looking to do that to kind of keep kids busy, give them something to do during spring break. And then, you know, if there's an opportunity to continue that job longer than spring break, why not? So really just an opportunity to keep them busy, and like you said, put something else in their hands, a little bit of green instead of a gun. Yeah, this is like super important. I mean, number one, probably with the American Job Center, we haven't done a really good job of advertising for a long time. So part of what we do, the whole reason we exist is to get people jobs and training. That's it. And I think if we start focusing on young people, you know, that's where, you know, they haven't made decisions which way they want to go yet. This is a great opportunity to find out, like, hey, so do I get a job in fast food? Hey, you know what? I did this for a year. I don't like when I work in fast food. Maybe I want to go to college because I'm thinking of this. Or, you know, just some experience to some of those other kind of pieces. We have them trying to get lined up with everything from, you know, your kind of traditional teenage kid jobs to even if there's some job shadow with professionals. You know, like, what does an accountant do? Hey, this is pretty cool. I kind of like this.
I think events like this are important because it allows our youth to gain access to resources that they might otherwise not have access to. And I think that's very important in order to make sure that they know that there's opportunities out there, that there are people that care enough about them to create an avenue like this so that they can access those resources. So I think there are a lot of opportunities out there that are readily available, but oftentimes if you're not aware of where to go or who to talk to or where those resources live, then sometimes you don't know that those opportunities are there. So I just think creating an avenue, over-communicating, being transparent with our youth in terms of letting them know that we care about them, we want them to be successful, and that there are people that are willing to go to bat for them to make sure that they have access to those resources. That's why that's very important. And I think there's unique challenges that our youth face when they don't know that they have access to those resources.
The students, they were actually more prepared than I had expected, which was surprising. They were answering questions right off the cuff. They knew to maintain eye contact, how to have a firm handshake, and be really confident when they're introducing themselves. So that was very encouraging. But in my previous role, what I did realize is that a lot of students lack the social emotional learning and the opportunity to develop those skills so they could navigate difficult emotions in healthy ways. So being connected to job skills like this, just the life skills training, the soft skills training, it really prepares them to be successful in the future.
If we can get these young people outside that 18-block radius, out of the city, for instance, all of us took some young people on the other side of the mall, and it was like they thought they was out of town. They went Udawa. Some of them have never been outside of their 18-block radius. They had no clue. They know the mall and the Dollar General that's by their house, or maybe a Food Lion or Food City or something, or a Food Dollar Store. You know, so that's a whole other piece. And then another thing is because of food deserts.
I'm saying it all blends, like Chris and Tro was saying, from economics to environment to your diet. You know, all of that, it affects, you know, the thinking, the rational thinking that you have in a classroom or in a school. So when you put a kid in a class that's hungry, that's already had a hard time last night, and you expect them to, you know, adhere to the rules and regulations of the school, then you have a recipe for disaster.
Absolutely.
So until we can figure out how to feed our kids properly, how to make sure they're nourished, two, take them out of their environments and expose them to something different than what they see on a day-to-day basis, and three, like you said, provide them with jobs. so they won't have to do crimes and go out here and, and try to make money to, help take care of the household, just to even get the things they want. Even if it's a pair of shoes or a video game, get something they want. And we provide some economic stability for them. I mean, you'll see the crime rate in our city and all over the world, or the country, I should say, drop tremendously. But those three things are the recipes to, get crime rate.
But at the same time, that's why it's so important when we create a no smoke Sunday. When we sat down and we said, okay, we want to have a no smoke Sunday, and we said we're going to provide just very minimal things that we know that piques their interest. One is music, so we're gonna have a DJ out there, and we're gonna have food trucks out there. Okay, and then on top of that, we're gonna have dancing contests, which Montreal, we'll get to that at some point. And Montreal told us, we need to shut that down, but we'll have things that pique the interest of young people. And so when you do that, let's also throw in the fact that yes, there were numerous times where Montreal and Chris said, okay, we got a kid out here with a gun. And we know this, and he's walking around with, it's 90 degrees outside, but he's walking around he's looking like Troy. Okay, and so
it's cold outside.
and it's hot outside. It's burning up outside. And so we pull this kid to the side and we say, hey, look, we know what you got on. We understand it. So one, you can either give it to us, or we're gonna have to ask you to leave.
And then you have an opportunity to have rolling video game truck where Montreal gets to come out and build relationships through gaming, to have a safe space that way. And then you have Uncle Troy, who's out here, who has the opportunity to say, hey, let me help you and your parent to come to a resolve around whatever issues you may be having from a criminal background, from a single parent background, things of that nature. So this safe space first encompasses the mind, then economics, and we have to change the narrative so that people can understand the importance of why our young people need this. If we say this all the time, Frederick Douglass said, it's easier to build strong children than to repair broken men.